What's up, party people? I'm on my way to interview Gidi Mark, who is the CEO of Taglit Birthright Israel. We'll be talking about a couple of things, an exciting project that they're involved in that combines innovation and a partnership with no less than the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. And it's the 18th anniversary of Taglit Birthright Israel, so Taglit, you're kind of legal now. All right, stay tuned. Bye.
Follow me, and let's go to the place where we belong and leave our troubles at home. Come with me, we can go to a paradise of love and joy, a destination unknown.
Hi, we're here with Gidi Mark, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Taglit Birthright Israel, and we're here in Taglit Birthright Israel Central Headquarters. This year is the 18th anniversary of Taglit Birthright Israel. So this year Taglit Birthright Israel is legal. I remember when it was the 13th anniversary and it was like, oh, you know, now it's bar mitzvah time. Now it's like 18 years. So how many people have come to Israel with Taglit in 18 years?
Until today, we have served 600,000 young Jewish adults from throughout the world, 67 countries. 100,000 of them are Israelis, so altogether we had over 500,000 Jews that came to Israel to celebrate their Jewish identity here in Israel.
That's a little crazy, right? That's like a city worth of people.
It's huge. It's huge. It's much above the wildest imagination of everybody. You know, when we started out of a cohort of 100,000 young Jews born in the Jewish world every year, only 2,000 young Jewish adults used to come to Israel every year. 2,000. When we started the first year, we brought 10,000, and now we are getting close to 50,000 a year. Looking forward to bringing even more. We would like eventually to make sure that every young Jew is born with a flight ticket to Israel, going there, celebrate his or her Jewish identity, and decide about their Jewish future. And actually, I don't know of any other experience until today that 10 days in the life of somebody had the credit of being called, "This trip changed my life."
Well, there's Birthright Armenia, right? I'm sure that's
Yeah.
life-changing.
For Jews.
Yes. I actually know I know one girl who's been on both.
Really?
She's been on both. Her father's Armenian, her mother's Jewish. She went on Birthright Armenian, went on Birthright Israel, and now she lives here in Jerusalem. So you know which trip was most life-changing.
But I can tell you that when we were approached by Birthright Armenia when we just started, and if you look at their website and the materials, they are pretty close to what we used to produce that day.
Right, that makes sense. So I don't know if you know, but I think I've led myself about 8 Birthright Israel trips.
I know.
And the biggest challenge for me was how to keep it fresh every time, right? And you guys have created, I can't even number the amount of trips. So what do you do 18 years later to keep it fresh, to keep it relevant, to keep up on, you know, what interests young Jews? I know that we were asked to talk about I have to get this right because the PR firm is going to get really, really mad at me. The Israeli Innovation Center by Taglit Birthright Israel in partnership with the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. I think I said that right.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the things that you guys are doing to innovate.
So the one thing that we do understand is that the participants of today are certainly not the participants of last year or 10 years ago, and more certainly not the participants of tomorrow. And in order to be attractive, because our biggest competitor is the other options that every young Jew has around the world, and we need to be at least as good in order to get the attention of 7, 10 or 14 days of these young people who usually have huge amount of possibilities to spend their time, and we need to be better than the alternative, and that's why we need to all the time to be relevant. So in recent years we moved from almost 100% doing some content about connecting the participants to the past, which was great, we gradually realized that we need to put more and more emphasis to the present, but mostly to the future also. So we put more and more content about what does Judaism mean for me, not for today or yesterday, but for tomorrow. What about what am I interested in? For example, 10 years ago we had maybe 1, 2, 3 hobbies or niche trips, as we call it today. Today we have over 200 groups a year that offer different interest-based or need-based trips.
Like
Culinary, we have bikes, and we have even scuba diving, and we have physicians, and we have journalists, and we have bloggers. LGBTQ, whatever. You know, I would like to create an environment which will eliminate any excuse or reason for any youngster in the world to say, no, I'm interested in something, so I don't find it in Israel. I can assure them that even lacrosse we can offer, and actually the national team of Israel in lacrosse is built mostly amongst by the alumni of Birthright Israel.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the biggest, I remember, back in the day, the biggest challenge to getting young Jews to come on Birthright Israel was objections by parents, right? You'd like call people up and tell them about their trip details, and the parents would pick up the phone and be like, don't call back. So what are the biggest challenges you guys are facing these days?
The biggest challenge actually is to be relevant. We really do many new things all the time that will ignite the imagination of our participants. In recent years, as you said, we started the first ever and only innovation center that showcases the innovation of Israel, being the most creative country in the world, I believe. We are now offering something which is called the Birthright Israel Class, which caters to the requirement of participants or interest of participants who finish their regular 10 days and they would like to do something which is more specific, like for example agriculture or archaeology or tracks or counterterrorism or entrepreneurship, etc. They can stay longer in Israel, 4 or 5 days, and do it. We also started to offer study abroad, which gives up to 3 credits to participants who do 14 instead of 10 days in Israel, in conjunction with several universities in Israel around different topics. And actually, we all the time...
we have trips for older kids too.
We have now older kids. They are not kids anymore, but they are older. We are now experimenting for the first time ever, 2732. For people that mainly tried in the past, you know that we still have huge wait lists. So people, only now we have about 80,000 names of people who applied in the past and never had the luck of getting on Birthright Israel trips. So we are now starting to offer. It's very limited because we really would like to build it as a standalone. And we are going to learn from the best teachers who are going to be our next participants.
Wow.
We had a pre-test in the summer of 2017-18 of 2 groups. And now we are going to, in the summer, we are going to bring about 1,000 participants. We, for the first time ever, going to bring groups in October, November of another 1,000 participants or 1,500 participants. We are going to learn from them to improve it and to build it as a standalone or an extension of the regular. We don't know yet because, as I said, it's a pilot.
Right.
In addition, we are now exploring another possibility of adding something which is over the 10 days, which is a preparation towards some kind of profession, people who would like to delve deeper into things that Israel can offer. It may be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, things that have to do with professions, etc. We are now exploring it. We hired a person to really to develop it, and we are going to see it hopefully in the summer of 2019.
That sounds like a lot of innovation going on.
Yeah, every day.
That's great. And there's a number of things that you guys are doing to integrate the whole Startup Nation idea into the Taglit trips. I know you have the Excel program.
We have the Excel program. The whole vision of Taglit is to connect the participant to his or her own professional trajectory. And the Excel program is a community that starts to be built through 10-week internship in Israel, which is now I think, it's the most selective process in the Jewish world. We choose about 45 out of about 1,000 applicants.
Wow.
And it's going great, and they build up as one community, two communities. Now we have about 250 members, fellows of this community in the United States, Canada, and Mexico on one side, and in Israel we have another 250 altogether. It's an international community of people who are going to be the Jewish leaders, the Jewish leading business people of the years to come. And this is actually the leadership of our people in the next 20, 30 years.
Now, regarding the Israel Innovation Center, by Taglit Birthright Israel, in partnership with the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange.
Exactly.
I was there a week ago, was it? 2 weeks ago? You had an event there, and I've been there before, and I know that it's a it's a room in the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange that highlights Israeli companies, Israeli innovation, and then there's like a room where people can sit and hear speakers and whatnot. How does that? Do you bring Taglit trips there? Is that the idea?
The idea is to allow our participants to explore Israel, as I said, not only its past but also its current situation and future. So we bring them over, we showcase some of the latest innovations in Israel. You know that.
My favorite was that machine that makes water.
Wow.
Come closer.
Yeah.
That makes water out of air.
Water gen. Yeah, it's one of the stars of the Innovation Center. So we bring them over. It's a lot of hands-on. So they get to see it for about an hour. And then they go to the adjacent room. There is an auditorium for about 60 people, and they meet with a group, with an entrepreneur. Usually they are young. We have an army of 300 volunteers.
Wow.
Who made it, some of them little time, big time, most of them, and they tell them why the Israeli environment of innovation brought them the success, which is a combination of hard work, creativity, not being afraid of failures, and the background of getting the best workshop in the world, which is the IDF.
Right.
And many of them get to deal with projects of multi-millions when they are 18, 19-year-olds, and when they finish the army, they start to do their startups. Many of them are successful, and they come over to share their ideas with our participants. Great success. And this is only the beginning of what we call the connection of professions from both sides of the ocean.
That's great. So, in conclusion, I have a question. So, obviously, if you were asked to give advice to a young Jew, number one would be come on Taglit Birthright Israel for sure. What's the best advice you can give to someone who's already decided to come on Taglit Birthright Israel? What's the best tip on in anticipation of the trip? I know what my best tip is.
My best tip is to come again.
Come again. You can go on Birthright twice?
You can go as on Birthright twice, once on Birthright, and then to come as many times as possible. Be a Jew wherever you are, regardless where you live. You always have to understand that Israel is a home for you. And feel at home in Israel, feel at home in New York, feel at home in LA and in Mumbai. But you need to understand that you have a very big family, warm family waiting for you here in Israel, because we are your family, and we are here in your homeland.
That's beautiful. My tip was extend your trip,
which is also great.
That's a good tip. I think
that's a great tip. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dick,
for having us, and carry on.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh, wait. There's one last thing.
Yes, please.
One last thing.
Yes.
So we've written a couple of articles about Taglit Birthright Israel, and on one of them we said if you want to send Gidi a thank you, send us your email and we'll send him an email. And we can't give away your email address now because you're a very busy man. But here's your opportunity to, like, literally, I get emails almost on a daily basis from people asking for your email address. So you can tell them you're welcome. They want to say thank you, so you can tell them, you're welcome.
Thank you. You are most welcome. You are most welcome. And David, you know my email, so send me all the emails. I'll be able to answer.
I'll send them to you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.